Supercars. You know I love them, but you can't talk about them without mentioning one of the oldest and most famous sports car manufacturers ever. They made one of the most iconic supercars in the world. The poster was almost certainly on your bedroom wall when you were a kid, with that weird wedgy shape, in that blazing Rosso Corsa paint, and that incredible sound it made. It was the ultimate Ferrari. This is everything that you need to know to get up to speed on the Ferrari F40. It's 1982, and the Fédération Internationale de l'Automobile, or FIA, decided to make up some new rules for rally racing. But what they actually did was pretty much just throw the rules right out. They called this set of rules Group B. And with nearly free reign and an almost entirely blank slate, manufacturers went wild. The Group B cars were becoming fire-breathing monsters, and the public was going nuts for them. But rather than throw technological prowess at a car like Porsche did with the 959, Ferrari wanted to go another direction. They used the classic formula of less weight plus more power equals fastest car to develop the incredible 288 GTO. But by the time they built the 200 production cars required by the FIA, the other Group B cars had become even more ridiculously quick. So they added a ton of aero and power, and in 1986, the 288 GTO Evolution was born. Unfortunately, that's right when Group B died. The FIA decided it was time to burn the no rules rule book, and all Group B cars were banned from competition. That left Ferrari with a badass race car locked up in its garage and nowhere to race it. At this point, 88-year-old Enzo Ferrari said to himself, "Self, you're getting pretty old, but this car company you started is really neat, and it's coming up on 40 years old now. Maybe you should build one of the last really cool cars before you make that trip to the big racetrack in the sky." So old Enzo decided he could still make something out of all that effort that went into the now pointless 288 GTO Evolution, and commissioned his engineers to build the best car in the world. He wanted a street car with no compromises, the F40, and he wanted it fast, both fast on the road and, you know, soon. It had to debut in time for Ferrari's 40th anniversary and make it to the 1987 Frankfurt Motor Show. So the F40 would be designed, tested, and launched in only 13 months. That is insanity. Ermanno Bonfiglioli, head of special projects for Ferrari in the 1980s, said it went by in a flash. The chassis and bodywork development ran right alongside the drivetrain development, which is not how it usually works. Luckily, Nicola Materazzi at famous design house Pininfarina had just drawn up the Evolution. So, fellow Pininfarina designers Leonardo Fioravanti and Pietro Camardella started with that and transformed it into an automotive masterpiece. They did comprehensive wind tunnel testing to optimize the aerodynamics for what was to be the fastest Ferrari ever. The F40's nose swooped down and practically kissed the road. NACA ducts, that means air inlets, were everywhere. And the huge squared off wing placed right at the angle by designer Aldo Bravaroni. Development had all been done in super secret, and only a handful of people close to Enzo had even seen the car. It was way more of a surprise than Drake's secret love child. No one knew what to expect, and the unveiling left the entire room completely speechless. The F40 might as well have been a road-going spaceship.
Oh my God, Morty, what did you do? You killed the Simpsons, Morty!
No!
The interior meant business, driving business. No stitched leather dash coverings here. Nope, the dash was just covered in felt to reduce glare. There were no door panels or even interior door handles. You pulled a cord to open the door. The side windows and even the windshield were plastic to save weight. But Ferrari did add air conditioning.
That I love.
That's just the air conditioner.
I want it.
Who cared about door panels anyway when you could look right at the carbon fiber the doors were made out of? The front and rear clamshells were also carbon fiber, while the rest of the car's 11 panels were bonded Kevlar, all built around a tubular steel frame. The F40 was the first production car made with all composite body panels, and it weighed 3,000 pounds. That's very light for a supercar. Pushing all this awesome lightweight racy stuff was a 2.9 liter twin turbo V8 churning out 278 horsepower at a screaming 7,000 RPM and 425 pound-feet of torque at 4,000 RPM. Ferrari paid special attention to the weight of the engine, and they used a lot of ultra-expensive, ultralight magnesium alloys instead of aluminum. It helped the F40 scoot to 60 miles an hour in 4 seconds and through the quarter mile in under 12. And though Ferrari claimed a somewhat controversial top speed of 201 miles an hour, none ever reached 200 in any test on any track outside of Italy. Still, 199 was enough to top Porsche's more extravagant 959 and its piddly 195 miles an hour. The numbers were impressive, but the F40's handling was a major challenge to get right. Ferrari test driver Dario Benuzzi was handed a ridiculously powerful car with a new age composite body, no power steering, no brakes, and told to work it out pronto. But Benuzzi ultimately turned the F40 into a well-balanced track weapon, calling it the Ferrari he was most proud of working on. Ferrari announced they would build 400 F40s, but demand was unexpectedly high, with more than 3,000 people trying to order one. In the end, they built 1,311. Some loved its UFO look, some really didn't, but everyone knew Enzo wasn't going to be around for much longer, and the F40 would be his last car. It was showing up all over video games, magazine covers, and wall posters. The public was fired up. Speculators started snapping the cars up and driving prices higher. Ferrari's asking price was $200,000, but Formula One driver Nigel Mansell sold his for 1 million British pounds in 1990. What a dick. Enzo Ferrari passed away in August of 1988, thrilled that he was still around to sign off on his epic final project and see the F40 become the world's fastest production car. But throughout the F40's 5-year production, reviews were actually mixed. Mansell loved his, but McLaren Formula One race car designer Gordon Murray slammed it, calling it wobbly and saying it felt like a big go-kart with a plastic body on it. The press gave it plenty of praise, but some car magazines that tested it against the Porsche preferred the more refined 959. The F40 really didn't compromise in terms of road performance, so it was a brutal street car. Ferrari never intended for it to be a race car, which seemed like a rather obvious other option. Customers started to ask for a racing version. Ferrari resisted until Daniel Marin, manager of a French Ferrari importer, talked them into it. They commissioned a limited run of F40 LM race cars from a race tuning shop, Michelotto Automobili. The shop modified virtually every part of the F40, and the resulting LM cars were way lighter, way more aerodynamic, and way more powerful. They weighed in at 2,300 pounds, made over 700 horsepower, and could hustle up to 229 miles per hour. You thought the plain old F40 sounded good? The LM made eargasms. In 1989, the first LM raced at Laguna Seca in the IMSA series here in the US. Even though the cars were originally named for the 24 Hours of Le Mans, they didn't race there, and Ferrari switched the name to F40 Competizione. They nabbed some podium finishes in IMSA and several wins at other international GT racing series, but it never attained real racing notoriety. With all of today's safety regulations and red tape, a street-legal supercar like the F40 could never be made again. The F40 is the purest distillation of Ferrari racing prowess into a road car. And it was an absolutely fitting salute to the life of an automotive hero. We make a video every single day to make sure that you don't miss any of them. Click this guy right here. You want to see a video about Ferrari's enemy, Ferruccio Lamborghini? Check out this episode of Up to Speed. You want to know how aerodynamics work? Check out this episode of Science Garage. Follow me on Instagram at James Pumphrey. Follow Donut at Donut Media. I love you.